Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to an awesome episode of the Flama podcast. My name is Angel. 皆さん、こんにちは。アンヘルと申します。Hola, bienvenidos. Me llamo Ángel. Bienvenidos al Flama podcast. Today, we have a very awesome new mentor, and I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming. We have been planning this for a couple months, but we finally got her in the building. Miji, welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Angel. I would like to do self-introduction in 3 languages to match up excellence of Angel. Hello, everyone. My name is Miji Lee, and I'm the CEO and founder of Core Meta. At Core Meta, we specialize in creating extended reality content to transform education. So our goal is to innovate the learning experience for everyone. I'm excited to be here today to share our journey with you. 안녕하세요. 저는 이미지입니다. 저는 코어메타의 대표로 있고요. 코어메타는 교육을 혁신하기 위해 확장현실 콘텐츠를 제작하는 데 주목하고 있으며 현재는 언어 학습 앱을 개발 중입니다. 저희의 목표는 모든 사람에게 혁신적이며 즐거운 학습 경험을 제공하는 것이며 오늘 이 자리를 빌어 여러분과 저의 여정을 함께 나누게 되어 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. こんにちは、イミジと申します。私は拡張現実の教育コンテンツを開発するコアメタという会社の代表を務めています。日本にいらっしゃる皆さんに私たちの会社をご紹介をできることを嬉しく思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。That was good. Miji, I wanted to ask
Thank
you,
you.
which language do you feel most comfortable in?
So these days, I guess I'm most comfortable with English and Korean. So I'm
Okay.
bilingual, I would say. So
Gotcha.
I'm okay with both languages.
Okay, awesome, perfect. Miji, I wanted to start from the beginning. And before we had a really awesome conversation, and something that really caught my attention is we have a lot of similar things. When I was in Japan, I worked for a little bit as an English instructor, and you are a Korean language instructor. So we have those things in common. I would love to know, where did you start in this core meta journey?
So yes, I think we do have a lot of things in common. So I began my career teaching Korean to students of all ages, from young kids to adults, and this happened just prior to COVID. And as I go along teaching, I became very passionate about it because I really like to interact with a lot of people. And this experience helped me to see deep connection between language and culture and the identity. So that's how it began. And I really believe that language is gateway to culture. And while some people learn language simply for just joy of it, most of my students who are taking Korean classes, they want to understand the culture. They want to communicate with their beloved ones. A lot of them have their families in Korean culture or friends, or also they want to communicate with locals when they travel abroad. So they learn that, but also a lot of my students they learn the Korean language because they want to learn the culture. They want to understand the K dramas they watch. They want to understand the K-pop. They want to understand their favorite K-pop singers. So I think language is a great tool, and then my students believe that when they learn the language they become closer to the culture and closer to the people they want to get close to. So that's how I started, to become a teacher, to make people learn the language and try to make me a mediator between the language and culture.
Exactly. That's beautiful. So basically,
Thank you.
language as not only a tool, but as a gateway to both culture and understanding.
Yes.
That is beautiful. So you were a Korean instructor. When did you decide to pivot? Like, okay, I'm a teacher. I teach this. I bring this to my students. When do you decide to make this XR project? Because usually I feel like teachers would just like stick to what works. Like, what made you become so like innovative?
That's a very interesting question because I never really thought that I would be in XR, and that when just before I started, I didn't know the existence of XR, to be honest. But this happened. My journey with XR began just before. So when COVID hit, I told you that I I began my career in teaching Korean just before COVID, and when pandemic hit, we had to move our teaching from in person to online. So a lot of things were happening in on screen, and it was a very tough transition for teachers because they had all the materials in person, but they had to move that, and we had to come up with different and innovative ways of teaching. And I saw some people getting a bit bored because they would have to stare at the screen. So I tried to look for ways to do this. How can I bring teaching in digital form effectively? And while I was searching, I found different online tools as well, but I stumbled upon this world of extended reality. At that time, the concept metaverse was extremely popular. So I started to dig into it. And I realized this extended reality is a massive potential for education. It brings a lot of merit, a lot of potential to it. So that's when Core Meta was born. So we wanted to, I thought that, okay, I need to make this language learning extremely fun. And I want to make this learning innovative. So without any tech background, I took a leap of faith and believed in the XR could be the future after the internet and mobile, and I strongly believe that. So I enrolled in an XR development course called a course at Circus Stream, and I continued to learn through various courses such as Google UI UX, webinars, and a couple of Udemy courses, and I never really stopped learning. I'm still learning even today, so I'm doing that, and also attended many webinars, in-person events such as AWE, Collision, Elevate. Collision and Elevate are one of the two major tech festivals in Canada. And I recently attended MetaConnect 2024 in San Francisco. So I learned a lot, and I expanded my network and tried to stay updated on the latest trends, helping me plan for the future of XR education. So this journey of learning, I also realized that because we have to create a world in a different medium, digital world, I realized I cannot do this alone. So I felt that, okay, I need to build a team. And because I'm not skillful for everything, and as if you know, those of you who are developing extended reality applications, you know that it's an enormous task that you have to do.
Right.
So I started to reach out to people for help, and then we have been really, really blessed with a lot of talented people, and then they shared their talent and time with us so that we can create very entertaining applications, and we are still doing this today.
Perfect. Miji, I have a question. So we're talking about XR. So I have heard of VR before, which is virtual reality. I have heard of AR, which is augmented reality, kind of like Pokemon Go, I guess you would say. What is XR?
hmm It's a very good question. Extended reality is an umbrella term that embraces all those things you have mentioned: virtual
Oh,
reality, augmented reality, and nowadays Meta is also pushing mixed reality.
oh,
So
gotcha.
extended reality has all these three, and the one end of spectrum is basically reality, so our reality. But then we also have augmented reality. So Anghan mentioned about Pokemon Go. So with screen 2D screen, you get to see digital overlay on your screen on top of your reality. So those things are called augmented reality. At the end of the other spectrum, we have virtual reality. So you wear headsets, VR headsets such as MetaQuest or Vive. You wear the Apple Vision Pro, and you get immersed into complete digital world in front of, around you, 360 degrees. And
Gotcha.
now we have mixed reality, which is a combination of virtual reality and augmented reality. So you see your real life, but it's a 360 degrees, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
around.
Gotcha. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. So I guess what changes is the level of immersion. I guess like how detached you are to reality, I guess would be.
Yes, you're right. So
Gotcha.
for virtual reality, you're completely immersed into another world,
Yes.
while AR and MR, it's more mixed reality. So you have your anchor in your reality, but you have digital overlay on top of it.
Gotcha. Awesome. Miji. So when it comes to core, right? Versus traditional learning, someone in a classroom, someone with a teacher, or maybe like an online class. What does core bring to the table that traditional teaching lacks?
Hmm. So, as I've said, I strongly believe in the merits of extended reality, the power of extended reality, because within the world of extended reality, there's no limit. There's no limit for time. You can go back to anytime you would like of
Right,
history or future. You could also go anywhere, any imagination, any place. You can be your living room, it can be Jupiter, it could be the future somewhere, or it could be fourth, fifth dimension. I don't know. You can go anywhere
right.
you would like. And I believe because you have no limitation and your
Hmm.
imagination is the limit to it, you can bring content, learning content in there, and that you have no limit. So you can go back to history in the, let's say, virtual reality, and that you
Right.
actually interact with things. So you learn a lot from it. Or you can, if you would like to know more about space, right now, not everyone can go to different spaces. So you can go outside a universe and
Sure.
or outside solar system, and you learn those kind of things. And language learning, I believe, it also depends on the context too, right? So you go into
Mhm.
one space and you learn different words. So we could bring those environments, immersive environments to you. So I believe that XR could be very beneficial when it comes to learning.
Seen trailers of core, and when I talked to Molly like a couple months ago, shout out to Molly by the way, she showed
Hey,
me,
Molly.
yeah, shout out to Molly. She showed me a couple of stills and things about core, and it's very interesting how you gamify education. It's sort of like Beat Saber in a way, where you have to like shoot at the Hangul characters. Like how does it
Hmm.
work?
So at Core Meta, we try to adhere to this principle called core learning. So what
Mm,
we do is that we have learning in the core, and that we try to bring elements that are interesting and motivating people, because we believe that people learn the best when they're motivated. And as you have Angel, you said, we try to gamify things. So it could
mhm.
be a Beat Saber. I will show you later on our trailers, but some of them have to do mini games like memory games or scavenger hunt and different kinds of types of games. We try to gamify it so that people don't really feel that it's a learning experience, but
Mhm.
it's more of a fun experience. So by
Yes.
immersing yourself in these kind of gamified ways, the learning becomes very natural, and that's
Mhm.
what we are trying to aim for.
Gotcha. That's very interesting, and I really believe in your idea, and I believe it works. Me personally, when I study Japanese, like of course studying kanji and all these things it's interesting, but when I play a game in Japanese or I watch anime, it drives my desire to learn more, to connect more with the culture. Is that something that you leverage in core?
Yes. So when we try to design applications, especially for language learning, we try to dig into culture first. So we try to ask
Mhm.
ourselves, why do people are interested in the culture? Why do they want to learn? Um,
Mhm.
so we do talk about anime. I'm a big fan of anime too.
Let's go. What
And
anime do you like?
I watched Death Note. Let's see,
Ooh.
so Bleach. Of course, I've watched all. I have books of Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Uh, many, many, many. There are many of them. So yeah, I am a very fan of Japanese culture as well. And hence,
Let's
that's why I
go.
studied Japanese when I was in university. Also in high school, I also went on exchange program in Japan. So I lived there for 1 year. So
That's
I'm a fan of
right.
culture. Yes.
Okay. Did you have fun in Japan?
Oh, it was one of the best years of my life.
Woo! Let's
I
go.
had so much fun because, I mean, first of all, the food was amazing. I gained so much weight.
Oh
Even
man.
my family could not recognize me when I came back. It was really fun. I had great friends. I learned a lot about the Japanese culture. It's such an exciting country. So when I was one of our applications that we are developing right now is about learning Japanese alphabet. So I try to remember those memories. Why was I so excited? Or why am I so excited about, let's say, Naruto? Or why am I so excited about the Japanese food, the sushi or kaiten sushi or something like that? So we
Hmm.
try to ask those kind of questions, and then we try to implement that in our application. The same thing as Korean too. I ask my students, why are you learning this? And they do say, oh, because I'm very passionate about that food. I really like the Korean food. So I try to delve into those elements and try to bring that into our learning components.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so we talked about core, and you're also building an app or software that helps with Japanese learning. I saw a video, and it's like you're kind of like a sushi chef, like doing like kaiten sushi. Tell me more about that. That was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I will show you the trailer later on
Okay.
too. But this project came. It was born from a hackathon. So
Mm,
in 2024, early, so sometime in April, I believe it
gotcha.
was April, we participated in a hackathon in New York. It was Meta Presence Platform Hackathon, and we tried to think of what is our team members' core common passion, and we ended up
Mm,
having Japanese because every single of us, we had 4 team members, and every single of us was very passionate about Japanese culture.
mm,
And then let's said, because we are doing language applications right now, we try to implement that.
hmm.
And and we thought, okay, we like gamification, but we also like the food very much, and how can we make this more fun? And one of the category we had to fill was mixed reality.
Okay.
So we tried to, what we had to do is that in the real life, we had to put digital assets on top of it. And we tried to brainstorm all the time. And we wanted to make it a bit more innovative. So we interact with the environment. So we created a conveyor belt all around where, however you want, but we also want to make it futuristic. So,
Mm,
because when you think about animation, it's all about fantasy too, right? So like
yes.
Naruto, he has like 9-tailed fox inside him,
Yeah.
or Bleach going through different dimensions. So we wanted to do something like that too. So we brought multiverse customers. So they visit you from multiverse,
Ooh.
and then they order Japanese sushi from you, and then you become the Japanese kaiten sushi chef, itamae. And so while you're creating very multiverse sci-fi looking conveyor belt inside your living space or wherever you play our game, you assemble hiragana or katakana letters
Hmm.
to create sushi. So for example, if it's
Mm.
tamago, then you collect ta and ma and go, and then combine that together to become a tamago sushi, and you serve that to your customer who is from multiverse. So we're hoping that we do that.
Will you guys
Yes.
do like an app with kanji? Because right now that's what I'm studying right now.
Oh yes, kanji is a very, very tough task for me too. I haven't really mastered the kanji part, even though I learned some Chinese characters when I was in Korea.
Right.
We haven't got to that yet, but we're working on hiragana and katakana first,
Mm.
and then hopefully in the future we can get to kanji for sure.
Gotcha. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in Korea before the 1400s, you guys used to use Chinese characters.
Because
Okay.
Sejong the Great, he created Hangul for Korean people, so that we started to use that. And then even up to 1990s, we heavily used the Chinese characters.
Oh, very
And
cool.
then nowadays, however, I think the trend has been changing. So
Gotcha.
now people are using more of the Korean characters now.
That's very beautiful. I visited his statue actually in Seoul, and a huge statue, and that's very beautiful. Kind of like making education more accessible and digestible to your population. That's awesome. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sejong the Great did a lot of great things. It was not only bringing the Korean alphabet to the people, he also developed a lot of scientific researches. And actually, if you take a look at our logo, it's from that concept, the principle. If you see a
Ooh.
circle and the line, when Sejong the Great created Hangul, he tried to follow this principle. It was for the sky and the land, earth and people,
Mm,
and the sky and land. Sorry, the sky and the land. Um, it was represented. so this is the sky, the sun, and
Mm,
then the line is the land horizon, and
gotcha.
also the person standing, it's also the stick. So of core meta, when I tried to create this logo, we tried to combine those that principle and then try to make that into our logo. So we always try to go back to that learning principle.
That is a very beautiful philosophy. I
Yeah,
love that.
thank you.
Awesome. Miji, I wanted to ask you about gamifying, right? Um, let's go a little bit back to the beginning. Korean instructor, I want to make an app that can help people learn Korean in a more fun and immersive way. How do you go from teaching Korean in a more pragmatic way, teaching Korean to gamifying it? Like, okay, first level this, second level this, let's add that, let's do a gameplay loop. How do you develop that?
Hmm. This is through a lot of research,
Okay.
and research when I mean by playing a lot of games. So,
Okay.
um, there were times I played a lot of games, but I usually tend to focus on one or two games. So I didn't have a lot of experience. However, while I was teaching, I realized that when we play, for example, Kahoot or let's say bingo games, people get really excited about it. So what I realized the power of game too, because people spend hours and hours just playing games, not only learning. So what I do is that I play games. Even I try to play some games. So I always ask myself when I play games, why am I so drawn into this? What kind of elements are they
Mm-hmm.
introducing? And what kind of mechanics are they using? What kind of images are they trying to do? What kind of events? And I always ask myself those kind of things and try to bring those elements that are quite successful, that draw people into the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then I try to combine them together into learning. So, as I've said, maybe there's memory games. So when you play memory games, you try to associate the sound and the letters and the
Mm-hmm.
images in front of you. So you try to make the association. For scavenger hunt, you go around, just running around,
Mm-hmm.
teleporting around, actually, in our case, and then
Right.
try to associate the same thing. We try to do that. Um, I'm still learning, to be honest. So, because I have a very big vision in my mind when it comes to gamified learning. So, uh, I still want to implement, for example, multiplayer components into our game so that
Mm-hmm.
people feel more cohesive and they feel more community within it. So, I always try to learn and play games and
Okay.
then immerse that into learning components.
Yes, regarding multiplayer, is that what you're doing for your next core game? Are you guys doing multiplayer?
Yes, so Core VR2, we are trying to make this as a multiplayer game because our Core VR2 is a cooking game. So you go
Oh.
inside an immersive environment. It's a virtual reality VR game. When you go there and then you learn vocabulary and you also learn grammar points. But learning vocabulary and grammar points alone can be kind of boring. So
Mm-hmm.
we try to bring cooking components to it. But in order for you to really enjoy cooking and enjoying the food, we thought that having a multiplayer setting could be very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking into making this as a multiplayer game. So we're looking into the UI UX part of multiplayer game. Also, we are also looking at tools that, for example, Meta Presence platform is really bringing great tools for multiplayer games. So we're searching on it and trying to implement them in our core VR too.
Gotcha. This is very cool because I imagine in the future people could do like hybrids. Like imagine a Korean teacher in a classroom, like, okay guys, today we're gonna learn about culture, let's learn about Korean dishes. Put on your headset. And then people put their headsets and they cook and they learn. It could be a hybrid as well, right?
Oh, definitely. That's my ultimate goal because
Oh.
ultimately, you think about it, you learn languages because not only to just learn the languages, but to communicate with others, ultimately interact with people.
Yeah.
So I felt that that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do multiplayer because we want to do community building within XR space. But also, it was also my dream, one of my goals, to be in XR and then talk about culture and then learn the languages together and communicate and practice our languages together, just not from 2D screen, but in 3D.
Okay, gotcha. I I have a question. It's a little bit of a side note, but um, you speak multiple language. Does it happen to you when you speak a certain language, your personality changes? Like, do you feel that way?
Uh, Good question. It's a tough question too. I don't know about my personality, but I think my first of all, my tone changes. I don't know whether you have noticed when I speak in English, Korean, and Japanese.
I have, yeah.
The personality, I'm not too sure. I never really thought of it. I
Mm,
try to be always positive. So
right.
I try to always deliver that in every language I speak. But
Yes.
I guess I try to think of different elements because each language has different cultures.
Hmm.
So maybe when I talk about it, I try to relate those, let's say it could be Japanese sushi, I talk about
Sure,
it, or
sure, sure, sure.
anime, when I try to talk about Japanese, I try to bring that when I speak. So maybe, yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm asking you because I kind of have like the same experience. Like, let's say when I speak Spanish, I use like big gestures and a big voice. When I speak English, I'm more like technical and precise. When I speak Japanese, like my body language changes. I'm more like, "Ah, so it's, just, like you know, like
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. So that's why I ask.
I see. It's quite interesting. Yes, I do. When it comes to gestures too, I do the same too. I also speak very basic Greek, and then Greek people, I notice
Ooh,
they have very different kinds of hand gestures too.
right.
So time to time, I do those gestures. Yes, I mean that's why I love languages because they're quite interesting.
Let's go. Awesome. So, I want to talk about communication real quick. Uh, I'm pretty sure you're a master at communication. You speak multiple languages. How do you use this to build your companies to communicate and to innovate in your business?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I really have to say communication is the key when it comes to running a company and also building an app in a team environment. Um, how do I do it? I try to be clear about our goal
Mm,
and what I would like. So I try to express my ideas and my thoughts as much as possible, verbally, but also visually too. So I try to provide a lot of picture references, and
right.
also in words, I try to clarify my thoughts. And when I before I go into a meeting, I write
Mhm.
down what I exactly have to say, and I try to follow that because I can go away from the topic.
Right, right,
So I
right.
try to do that so I can effectively communicate. And also, when let's say when I bring in new members in our team or during our
Hmm.
team meetings, I talk about, okay, this is our weekly goal, and I would like to follow
Mm,
that. And if it doesn't work, then we have to adjust accordingly.
okay.
However, we try to make the goal as much as possible. There is that part too, but also it's not only within building a company and in a team environment, but it's also within the application, building an application too. This is where UI UX is extremely important because you have to be able to communicate with the users.
Hmm.
And this is we are learning a lot because we are trying to work on the tutorial section of the multiverse Kaiten Sushi right now.
Okay.
And we're actually struggling a lot because we start our design in 2D on, let's say, Figma or different types of venue, but we have to bring that into 3D
Mm,
and realize that there's a bit of a learning curve there because you
yeah.
have to tweak a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, so we realized that in order for us to effectively communicate with us or the learning applications to the users, you really have to think from the user's perspective. And in order for us to do that, we have to do a lot of testing.
Right.
And so we try to communicate better that way. Try to provide more
Hmm.
step by step guide and easy to follow UI UX experience within the application. So at Core Meta, really think about communication inside company and also through our applications as well.
Okay, gotcha. So if I can boil it down, is basically you have to be explicit, direct, and give them as much like context as possible, basically.
You're right. Yes,
Okay.
clear communication, I believe, is the key.
Gotcha. But when it comes to clear communication, I feel like when it comes to cultures, we live in a globalized world, and communications between cultures are so different. Like when I speak to my American friends, it's very different than when I speak to my Japanese friends or to my like Hispanic friends. It's yeah. How do you find that balance?
Hmm. By interacting, just by learning each other, learning about each other, and this is where the language comes to communicating, and try to understand all the time what the other person is coming from.
Mm,
And I think you always have to keep in mind that that person you're talking to might not think the same as you are, and then they
hmm.
might not have the same background. So you
Yeah.
always have to have that in the back of your mind. So you have to be more understanding towards that person. So within our core meta, we are extremely diverse. So we have teammates from all over the world.
Hmm.
So we have to think about each person's background as well. So when I try to think about that, I try to accommodate their time zone differences. I try to accommodate their cultural aspect too, so that I always try to understand that even though I might think a little differently, if I have some not really clear understanding of what the other person is trying to say, I try to ask questions so that I can get more information so that we can be at the same level of understanding.
All right, I love that. Beautifully said, Miji. I know you have some trailers. I know you have some stuff you want to show us. I'm ready.
Oh, sure. Yes, I'm excited to show it.
If you could please share your
Okay.
screen whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I've mentioned this several times already, but this is a principle that we add here too. So Core Meta provides core learning. So we try to make learning exciting and fun, and we try to motivate people because people learn the best when they're motivated. And as you will see in our trailers, we try to bring a lot of culture and gamification by providing, and also we try to provide immersive experience so that you can enjoy your learning, not only us. And this is our trailer. Please enjoy.
으이, 멍청이. 나
유원 달고나.
예스! 에, 이게 뭐야? 아, 오. 밀가루, 밀가루, 새우, 설탕.
Hello there. I'm from the Monster Multiverse. My friends and I are so hungry, and we love the flavors of hiragana letter sushi.
마, 도.
Looks delicious. You are a natural itamae.
Maguro kudasai.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Yes, so I wanted to talk a bit more about the
Sure.
applications. So Core VR1 is launched on Steam already. It's free for everyone at the moment. And inside, you go into the immersive environment of a virtual reality of a Hanok village, Korean traditional village, and you learn Korean alphabet through there. By interacting with orb, a futuristic looking orb, you learn the sound and also letters. And then when you go into playing arena, you do shooting games, and then you get delicious food through that. And our second, and then these are my students at our during our class. So they learn Korean alphabet with Core VR1. They really enjoyed it, and I got their feedback. So hope that we can develop it further for
Nice.
sure. And the second one is a Core VR2, which is we are working on at the moment, and we're working very hard on this. This one is where you get to learn Korean vocabulary and grammar. This is also virtual reality, a VR application, but before it was a Hanok village, but now you're inside the Hanok building, which is a Korean traditional building. So you get there, and then by interacting with these mini games and do cooking, through that process, you will get to learn vocabulary and grammar of Korean. And we hope that we get to launch at least the initial part of it at the early 2025. And we try to make it multiplayer as much as possible. The third one is a multiverse kaiten sushi, and this is a Japanese alphabet learning game where you can learn hiragana and katakana. And this is a mixed reality application. And in the trailer, that was New York Meta office, and this is where we did our hackathon. And as you can see, this was our old chef's table. Now we have a brand new chef's table that looks very cool and
Oh,
futuristic.
wow.
Yes, I am very proud of it. Our designer worked really, really hard for this, and we're still working on this. We're also trying to do user testing, hopefully this week or next week. So we're always working very hard on this. This project was, as I've said, it was a hackathon project, and we were chosen as a top 3 in education project category. So we are very, very proud of this project, and we're hoping to launch this early 2025 as well. So please stay tuned for these. Yes.
Yes, definitely. That kaiten sushi looks really fun.
Sorry. There's another trailer
Okay.
from. So this trailer, what I'm about to show you is our NASA Space App 2023. We were also chosen the third place in the local level Mountain View. And this was not really a language learning, but I wanted to do team building. And also I wanted to go beyond just language learning when it comes to education. So we created that. I would like to share that with you. Water. The most crucial element for human survival on Saturn's moon, Titan.
Greetings, as Team Titan Ranger 784.
The biosphere, methane reactor, an ice drill for securing and sustaining water supply.
Alert, 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 alert.
So this is also gamified learning. What you do is that we try to tackle the most important fact for living outside of Earth, which was finding water. So we try to create an application where you can the users learn how to acquire water on Titan, which is one of the Jupiter's moon. So we try to do that. So by gamifying and also doing a little bit quizzes and educational walkthrough, we created this app, and we had a good result out of that hackathon.
Gotcha. So this one is more like team building and like educational as well.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Especially like you can like train like a Jedi and learn. That looks interesting to me.
And then you can even fly there. So
Oh,
I love that part. I love flying in virtual reality. So it's really
do you have
fun.
like a jetpack or something? Like
You do have a jetpack where you have to press console, and then once you do that, you can go around inside biosphere. And you get to even see in that application, you can even see International Space Station and also Saturn in the sky. So I love that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, very cool stuff. Miji, I wanted to ask you, where can people play Core, or where can they find this?
So right now, for Core VR1, we have launched it on Steam. So you can go even today and have an access to it. If you have any feedback, that'd be great. We're always looking for feedback. And for our second application, which is Core VR2, and Core VR2 and Multiverse Kaiten Sushi. We're hoping to launch this on MetaQuest store so that by early next year you can download and access them through MetaQuest store.
Awesome. And guys, we're going to have all those links in the description below. So if you're interested, I really recommend trying Core. Last but not least, Miji, where can people find you?
The best way to reach me is through LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. We always update our activities on there. So please find me there, or you could reach through coremeta.com, which is our homepage. You could do that, or you could reach me at Miji Lee at coremeta.com. That's our email.
Gotcha. What if someone wants to be like a beta tester and give you some feedback?
Thank you so much for mentioning about that. So we do have a link on our homepage where you can input your email address and then we can reach out. But you could always reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, so I can put you in our list. And we're hoping that in the future, once we launch our 2 applications, we're hoping that we can be more active on Instagram, YouTube channel. So I will always post those updates on our homepage on LinkedIn and our homepage. So just stay tuned for those.
Perfect. And we're also going to have that link in the description below. So please be mindful of that. Any last message before we end the episode?
I would like everyone to know that I started this journey in XR not as a tech person. I started as a teaching person. So I guess there was a bit of a gap or distance between teaching and XR. But I'm here now, and I believe that I hope that I am a tech person. And I think you can too, if you feel that you want to be in the XR field, but a bit afraid because you don't really have any tech background. Please do not be afraid. Start learning and just join this wonderful world of extended reality. And if you are in XR already, however, you're really not sure how to begin or where to start, then first ask yourself questions about where your passion lies, what your interested are, and start asking those questions. And if you get some idea, start working on it. Reach out to your friends or be active in XR community. And there are a lot of great people out there who can help you and give you a lot of good advice. So don't be afraid. Just do it. Today is the day. If you ever want to wonder if you want to do it, today is the day when you can start.
Beautiful. Miji, it was such a pleasure and it was so fun to have you on the podcast. I have learned so much from you, and thank you for taking the time to talking to us. I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much for having me, Angel. It was a pleasure for me to be here with you and then sharing our journey with everyone. Thank you very much. 감사합니다 and ありがとうございます.
All right.